We've learned now about two Western initiatives, one led at the grassroots level by a nonprofit in Utah and one led by a business community in California. Our final segment takes a look at an initiative led by local government called SEQUEL, which stands for Sustainable Environment for Quality of Life. It centers around the Charlotte metropolitan region, which includes 11 North Carolina counties and 4 South Carolina counties. SEQUEL is a very good model of how local governments working together with non-governmental partners can improve the quality of life and environment in a growing metropolitan region. Under SEQUEL, local governments are putting in place a range of measures and practices for air quality, water quality, and land use. Let's learn what SEQUEL is up to, and please remember to send in your questions.
In the Piedmont of North and South Carolina, the Charlotte, Gastonia, Rock Hill area is changing, and changing fast. Once the land of textiles, furniture, and cotton, this area has become a hub for business, high technology, and finance, boasting the second largest banking center in the country. The region's population is projected to nearly double, approaching 4 million by 2030. But already the area is facing concerns about sprawl, the environment, and quality of life. With air quality issues as a catalyst, this 15-county region has begun working to address the challenges of change.
I think in one word, it's growth. This area has been experiencing just unprecedented growth, basically through the expansion of the Charlotte metropolitan area.
Our Mayor McCrory, and Parks Helms were farsighted enough back in 2000 to see that the region was going to need to work together if we were going to handle growth of that magnitude.
The growing pains put a lot of pressure on your air, on your water, and on your ground. And as a result of that, that impacts our price of roads, our mass transit system, our land use decision making, our water supply, what types of industry we can recruit. All of this is a cause and effect, and therefore we have to have a master plan in which we all work together, because if any part of that plan doesn't work, the rest of the plan may actually fall apart.
The fact is that many of the challenges that we are confronting simply don't lend themselves to jurisdictional boundaries.
And these political jurisdictions, whether it be a state border, a county border, or a city border, mean nothing when it deals with the environment, because the environment does not recognize political boundaries.
I know it's easy for us now on South Carolina's side to say this is Charlotte's problem and they causing us our problem. We wouldn't have this problem if it wasn't for Charlotte. But that's not going to solve our problem. That doesn't make it work any better.
Taking a step across political boundaries, Charlotte Mayor McCrory and Mecklenburg County Chairman Helms brought together the region's elected officials to learn about air quality, water quality, and land use issues the area is facing and will face in coming years. The group developed a toolkit of action items to improve the environment in the Charlotte region. With continued support from the Environmental Protection Agency, the partnership expanded in 2003. Today, 15 counties and more than 80 cities and towns are working together to address multiple planning issues at the same time. Future work for this innovative planning project includes refining a regional vision and using state-of-the-art tools to weigh land use alternatives.
Well, I think there are a number of challenges that we still see on the horizon. What we know is that in this community, we were a manufacturing economy. That's what drove this economy. Much of that is changing. We're moving toward a high technology kind of an economy.
First of all, we had to recognize where we are today and what gaps we have. But the most important thing we had to recognize is if we do nothing, what will this region look like 20, 30, even 50 years from now?
We have found that as we continue to evolve and change as a region, that the issues require that we share information with others. SEQUEL, I think, has been a catalyst in helping us learn to share with each other.
Well, the driving forces that really prompted CEQA was a realization that both market forces and government forces, through regulations, was demanding teamwork, because we recognized through the many different government entities in the region that if we don't work together, none of us are going to continue to have a quality of life regarding our environment and also further economic development. So both market forces, political forces, and regulatory forces are making us work together as a team.
The CEQA process started out by bringing together a diverse group of locally elected officials, representatives of the chamber, representatives of various institutions in the area here, to basically come together and agree that we have some common issues to address.
We seek partnerships with other levels of government in order to do what we know at the local level needs to be done. So it's voluntary, but it also uses federal standards and applies them in a way that we can get on board rather than be forced to do it.
One of the things that CEQA, I think, has done so successfully has created an atmosphere where local governing bodies could come together, share experiences, and indeed face the challenges together, because in many instances they're not easy. And it takes some political courage to do some of the things that we're called upon to do.
This is unique in many ways in that North Carolina and South Carolina are doing this together. I don't know that there's any place else in this country that you see bordering states working together as well as we are.
This is the first instance I can think of where you have all levels of government partnering on a common set of issues.
In a cooperative venture working with the EPA, we defined a multi-year bi-state initiative to demonstrate that local governments, if provided adequate information, can make well-informed, economically and environmentally responsive decisions. And while we are welded together in an economic unit, each one of these is a political jurisdiction which guards their prerogative carefully.
I think it's very important that many of the smaller communities in this region be able to maintain their autonomy. If they want to preserve their character, then they must join with CEQA and other communities of like mind, because these are issues that are more important than any one of those communities, any one of those small towns. It's more important even than this region.
The EPA is a great supporter and admirer of CEQA. It's exactly the kind of thing we have to do in order to build as a community and to collaborate on a regional basis to find solutions that are unique to this area. Basic part of my philosophy is we need national standards, but we need neighborhood solutions, and this is a great neighborhood solution.
That's why CEQA does work. It allows you as a community to choose what you want to have an impact on in your backyard and make that difference.
Key to this choice is a toolkit detailing measures local governments can select to meet their needs and CEQA's goals. The flexibility the toolkit provides has contributed to the program's success.
We had a series of well-attended regional meetings, environmental summits, whatever you want to call them, that involved a diverse group of organizations and individuals.
So we came up with some really simple, plain English. Here's what this means, here's why you should do it, here's how you should do it, and here's how, here's who needs to be involved in the process, and here's how you can go about finding some money to help you do it.
Well, Central Carolina Council of Government put together for the CEQA initiative a notebook. And in that notebook, it gives you the tools.
The toolbox that we developed was so well designed that it could be used in any community on the local level. It did not have to be a statewide thing or a region-wide thing. It could be local, so we could localize everything that was suggested.
The tools range from ozone awareness programs to stream buffer protection to greenways and open space. Some governments have developed additional projects. retrofitting diesel school buses with emission controls, and funding truck stop electrification to reduce pollution from truck idling.
Well, first of all, we've had a tremendous amount of success in trying to bring about consistent land use policy, although we have a lot of work to do in land use efforts on how we grow and how we develop.
There are more than 500 action items by local jurisdictions that have measurable and positive impact on the environment, many of them on air, many of them on transportation, many of them on water.
As a county commissioner, we earmarked $40,000 of the school board's budget to go into retrofitting school buses. That gave us an available match for the school system to use when they went after grants. And we've just been awarded $77,000 approximate dollars to finish retrofitting our fleet in Rowan County. So our fleet's complete. Then if you look in Rowan County, we have 2 major truck stops that park over 250 trucks a night. And those trucks idle for up to 10 hours. And in that idling time, major particulate matter is put into the airways.
There is going to be an opportunity for truckers traveling on I-85 to pull in, connect to an electric air conditioning web-based support system, and they can turn off their diesel engines while they sleep, rest, go into the restaurant.
The truck stop electrification policy will be extremely important to us in this region to keep the air clean.
When this project's complete, it will have a major impact in reducing the particulate matter that's put into our air and should help us towards our attainment. As with anything in life, it's easy to start something up. It's hard to keep the momentum. And the hesitancy of some people is, let's do it our way and the heck with everyone else, because it's easier to make decisions without having to be inclusive with everyone else. It takes more work to bring more people into the picture. But in the long run, it's going to be a better decision. If you have that grassroots buy-in, it will stay alive and it will grow and it will flourish.
I think we may come up with different approaches in different areas of the region. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all sort of mentality or approach that is necessarily the best approach for our area here.
What we know now is that if we're going to succeed into the next century, then we must not ignore the reality of the environmental concerns, and we must not ignore the reality that we're in this together.
It takes a village to raise a kid. Well, it also takes a region to ensure that we have the quality of air and water and other things that sustain us for the quality of life that we want for our citizens. So it just takes that many people to do these kinds of things, and I think we should be willing to roll up our sleeves and do it.
Sequel's about tomorrow's generation. My generation has caused harm. My generation has made some very unsmart moves, and it's up to me as one of my generation to step up and say, we can do better for tomorrow, and it needs to start today.
We've now had a chance to hear about these 3 initiatives, each of which has unique qualities, but all have one thing in common: improving the quality of life while protecting the environment. We're ready now for your questions, so let's go live to the studio.